I want to say one of the most rewarding things about starting this channel is the conversation on here and definitely off here. So one of the things that I realized is that when I'm talking to one of my friends down in Houston, we were having a conversation about the internet itself and how we have almost two different internet. But she's seeing stuff that I'm posting on the channel and saying, "Yeah, I don't come across this." Conversely, I don't come across the stuff she has. The algorithm is doing what the algorithm does. So we're going to take a quick dive into what the dating side via one of these apps is like for men. And guys, like, comment, subscribe. We're almost there. 14, 15 subscribers away from that 1K milestone. We'll get there.
This is the level of delusion that some of these fellas nowadays have to deal with. Not me. I'm good. We got Jessica, 39, damn near a 40-year-old woman. A 40-year-old woman. Before you slide in my inbox, here's the real deal. Let's see the real deal. Her rent, $3,000. She's a mother of two boys. They need new Jordans and school clothes. Has nothing to do with that man. Everything to do with you and their father, or their fathers with S. Your light bill, $300. Nothing to do with that man. Car, need a new one plus insurance. Also, what does that have to do with a man sliding into your DMs? Crazy work. Nails, hair, all this other shit that nobody could care about. Personal allowance, $600. Weekly shopping, yes. And
It says weekend shopping. Yes, every week.
housekeeper, what? Yes, this is the level of delusion that some men have to deal with some of these women. Girl.
Like I said, we can look at this as in a couple different ways. Outside of it, just yeah, we could just say it's ridiculous and keep scrolling, right? But a lot of women use this as a way to weed out men. If you can't do these things, then she's gonna say, then you weren't the one for me anyway. Cool. We are never going to be ones that try to legislate what people want. Because as men, we want to be in the same category. When I say I want this, I want that very same reaction. You got it. You're entitled to want what you want, period. Whether or not you can get those things, that's a different thing. That's where we want to talk about some of this sort of delusion, as in, you want to increase in dating, you want to increase your odds of getting what you want. Sometimes that means tempering your expectations with reality. If reality is a through line, you want to be as near to reality as possible. You find yourself too far off course, well, then your results or lack thereof is going to show. If you want a man that is 6 feet tall, greater than 6 inches, six figures, all these things, you then commiserately have to be something he wants. Very easy to say, very easy to say. When you now add on extra accoutrements of you need to pay these things, okay, for some women, they can command that because the way they're valued to men makes sense. And this is usually when you see, women where you're like, well, how could you guys relate? Another conversation we were having about age gap dating. Well, when you're young, he may value your youth, fertility, and effervescence to the tune of $4,000 a month. Could be. There's no real way for you to determine what that man says is important to him. That's up to him. There's no way you can go and say you should do this, this, and that because reality is going to hit you right in the face. And he's going to say, no, none of that's really worth it to me. In this case, that's how a lot of men are looking. You already have two kids. You have, a list of bills and stuff that you want. He's going to do the math and say whether or not he thinks that monetary amount, what it took to get that amount of money. This is where there's a little more like underlying here. If I get my money fast, I get my money off the streets. I get my money off selling, what should not be sold. I don't know about YouTube guidelines about saying some things, so we're not going to say that. Then I don't really value the effort it took to get that. So yeah, paying for that is easy. When it took me time, and it took me, when I mean time, I don't mean I showed up to work and then this is what I was paid commiserably for my time. No, I mean, it took me years of schooling, it took me years of experience going through promotions at my job to get where I can be to afford to just shell you out $4,500 a month just to slide in your DMs. I now have a value attached to that. And I see that's what I'm looking at, that time, that commitment, that effort, the sacrifice. I'm looking at you and saying, are you worth that? If you're already up there in age, you have 2 kids, I'm looking and say, "No, you may not be," because that very same bill that you came with, because it's a bill, a younger woman may say, "This is my bill, but my value to you may be higher." Again, we're not here to tell people you shouldn't want what you want. That's fine. You could do that. No one's gonna talk you out of house and home. We would just hope that at some point in time, if you're gonna continue to look at men as just a way to pay your bills, at least give him what he wants. You go to the store and you buy your groceries, you want to get some value from that. You don't wanna feel as if you just paid $100 and you left with three things in your cart. If you wanna live this sort of life and say men need to pay for this, that, give him something to pay for. Give him something that he says is worth it. And that's not really up to you to determine, that's gonna be up to him. That makes sense? Let me know down in the description in the comments. Go like, comment, subscribe. Really appreciate you guys.